Hello and welcome back. My name is Steve. This is The Baldest, a podcast about baldness, self acceptance, and what happens when you stop fighting who you are and become the baldest. Episode 7, More Than Bald. Today I'm joined by author, speaker, and podcaster Justin Belt. We're going to talk about why bald men seem so comfortable with themselves, baldness as a superpower, and his new book, The Purpose in the Pause. Justin, also known as JB Speaks, which I think sounds a lot cooler, is also the host of a podcast called Faith Formed. I'll leave links for his podcast and his books and all his social media in the show notes. I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. I know I certainly did. All right, here it is. JB Speaks. You got everything you need over there?
Yeah, I'm all good.
I mean, you're the first podcast professional I've had on the show.
Not nearly a professional.
I think so. One thing I do want to ask you is how would you like me to introduce you, right? Because you're a podcaster. Are you a pastor as well? Like, do
Mhm.
you pastor at a church?
Yeah, not at a church anymore, but it's still very much a part of me. Um, but I mean, honestly, I'm a husband and a father, and I podcast and write books. Like everything else. I've been on podcasts sometimes where, oh, I have Pastor Justin and I don't know. Like, to me, pastoring is not as much of a flex as just I'm a regular guy doing regular guy things. So, however you choose to do it is totally fine with me. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that, and I think as we really are just regular people at the end of the day, anyway.
Yeah.
So it's if people, I feel like nowadays, like a lot of people get their I don't want to say get their word, but I mean, they kind of get their word from regular people. How many people are listening to podcasts or other influencers who are kind of telling them how to live their lives
Hmm.
in a way that pastors used to do and still do. But now it's like, oh no, I listen to this podcast or this podcast, and then that's what tells me how to be a more improved version of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's for me. It's never been something that I lead with. Uh, Once people get to know me and they ask, then yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I'm a pastor. But the most important thing to me about me is not that. It's just that I've been married 23 years and I have 5 kids and our life is chaotic and my kids make fun of me constantly because I'm bald. So,
And so tell us about your sort of baldness journey. I know it was young.
so yeah, I let's see. I started noticing that I was getting kind of like the little fading probably around 20 years old. And I'd always told myself that I was not going to be the guy that had nothing up top and everything growing around the side. Cause I've seen some crazy, I've seen some, I've seen guys do some crazy stuff when they lose this up here. And so I think I was about 22 years old, and my friend from college, he'd been cutting my hair, and my wife and I, we were engaged and everything. Uh, and I want to say, yeah, we got married because I wasn't going to just shave my head before the wedding. So after we had the wedding, the honeymoon, and everything, uh, I went to my friend's house and my wife came with me. I was like, I'm going to shave my head. She was like, what? I said, yeah, I'm going to shave my head. And so we got there and I was like, Carl, take it off. He's like, but you still have hair up there. I was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not vain when it comes to my hair. And so he shaved it and my wife cried. She cried. Um, and so yeah, I have been bald ever since. And there are moments when I still wish that I did have hair, because I always wanted to grow locks. And both of my sons have locks. My wife and my oldest daughter both have locks. I was like, man, it would have been cool if I could have had locks so that I could be a part of their cool gang. And their response to me is always, well, you can always get, a man weave, get a man unit, and get somebody to glue your locks onto your skull. And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm I'm writing all of you out of my will because of this constant trolling.
Oh my god. Well, I feel like well, what a great story. But do you think that going bald younger and then having your kids just constantly make fun of you for it has just sort of made you immune to any insecurity about being bald?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Not that I had a bunch of insecurities about it anyway, but for example, yesterday was Father's Day, and so my kids got me a journal because they know that I love writing in journals, and they all gave me these sweet letters to open up the journal. So it's 5 letters from 5 kids. My sons, my youngest son, Kanan, the start of his letter says, "Dear Baldy." And my oldest son, his letter said, "Hey, Milk Dud, I love you. You're a great father." And then at the bottom of his letter, he said, "Thanks again, Baldy." So like I get it from them
Oh
all
my
the time.
god.
It is incessant. One of the pictures that we took for Father's Day was just them with their palms on my head. That's
Wow.
what they wanted. Yeah, that's what they
That's
wanted.
what they wanted.
That's what they wanted. Yeah. I didn't want it. It's what they wanted. So, man, whatever. Yeah, I'm immune because I deal with these jokers all the time.
Oh my god. It's you can't even go one day it sounds like.
No, not really. And you know what's funny? Another thing that always made me laugh is when I was a teacher actively in classrooms, I would have students who would come up to me and say, "Mr. Belt, have you ever had hair? Like, were you born bald and it just never grew in? Like, did you ever have hair?" It's like, well, duh. I did have hair, but you can't prove it, can you? It's like, okay, so
You can't prove it.
and
Oh.
so yeah, and so then, I show them pictures of me with hair, and they're like, "Oh, Mister, but I think that's fake news. I don't think that's actually your hair." So you just can't win. You just can't win.
No, I what is it about people with hair? They some of them are just so fascinated by bald people, and where does that come from? What is that?
I wish I could explain it. It I don't know. But have you ever had people come up to you and ask if they can rub your head for good luck?
I don't know that I have, but
You
I would say yes if I did.
it's it's like people look at bald men as if we're like a unicorn or some type of, you know, uh, witch's ball or something. They can see their future or get some type of magic out of it. I it all makes me laugh, man. It's just so entertaining. Like we're some type of anomaly from a parallel Earth that should not exist on this physical plane.
Is that just it? Is that we look so different that people sort of personify us as like a different thing?
Maybe, maybe. I think it just makes us look even cooler than the average person, but I mean, that's just me.
Well, that's of course a bald guy would say that on a bald podcast. Yeah, of
Of
course.
course, of course.
We get a lot of that around here. Um but I but it's so funny because as people who enjoy being bald, for for other men especially, becoming bald is so scary to them. And why do you think that is? Is it because that people just like having hair is so much of their identity, and then when they lose it, it's kind of like this like little ego death that they're afraid of going through? Like where is the pain? Because on the other side, we're toasting champagne with each other being bald. But people on on pre-bald people are genuinely afraid.
I can't put my hand on the why. But I think you nailed it, that there is so much of our identity tied up in our hair. I mean, if you culturally today, people are doing so many things with their hair, more so than at any other time in human history, probably. I mean, you see people with their hair painted in leopard spots like Dennis Rodman. You'll see people, with a faux hawk mixed with like that. They're doing all kinds of things. And so because hair grows back, they can cut it off, start it over again, and then choose an entirely new identity for themselves.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's cool, but I also think that that's probably why, especially men who start going bald, probably 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe even 30s, have a really hard time of letting it go because they've had so much of their life that has been, if their hair hasn't been front and center in their journey, the idea that there's a portion of that identity, their hair, that's now failing them and leaving them for whatever reason, it there is an insecurity that comes with it for them. Like I said, I cut my hair off willingly at 22 because I didn't care. My younger brother, he started going bald younger than I did. He was in high school when he started going bald. Um, and he didn't care either. He just shaved it off. I think younger in life, it's probably a little bit easier to reorient uh than it is when you get older in life. Because I mean, I see guys. I live in Texas, so I see all kinds of things. I've seen guys with nothing up top, and they have their entire side of their hair locked, or they'll grow it out and curl it, and all these different kinds of things. Or you'll see the guys who were just holding on to one strand here, one strand here, one strand here. Because I think as long as the strand of hair is there, some portion of that identity is still intact for them.
Mm.
So they can still look in the mirror and say, I still look as good as I did when I was in my 20s or in my 30s. Because when they're looking, they see that strand. That strand is just, this voluminous coif of hair that is just wondrous to behold.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Because if you're a younger person and you just shave your hair off, you're like, man, whatever.
Hmm.
And I respect that. I didn't do that. I waited till my 30s and then I was really stressed about it. And I think, yeah, that's a great point. It's the longer you spend with your hair, the more it becomes a part of your identity. And I think the more time you have to build up a insecurity about losing it, right? Because if you
Mm.
shave a high school kid's head, they don't care. You know what I
Yeah, they
mean?
don't care.
It doesn't matter. But if you take a 36-year-old man whose hair is already a little thin and you're like, "Hey, let's shave it off real quick." They're gonna be like, "Oh, absolutely not. I'm not gonna do that. What if it doesn't grow back? What if
Yeah,
this, or this?" Or then it's, "Oh, you see the bald spot for real this time."
yeah.
You're because it's like, yeah, I've seen guys, they have this and there's nothing back here, but they're
Yeah.
just it's just like combed back and I'm like, "Dude, you're like 85% bald. You're like you and me are a lot more alike than you realize." And but yeah, they see that front part, they're like, "Psh, I'm not even bald, baby. I have this. That's
Yeah.
all I need." And in reality, it's like, come on, man, just let it go. You're bald.
Yeah, and in their mind, that this equals this. Like
Yeah.
it's the whole head of hair. Yeah.
So if you could have any hairstyle, you mentioned you were jealous of your kids' locks.
Hmm.
What is that the hairstyle you would choose if you could like wake up tomorrow and it's like, "Oh, I want a hairstyle, you're getting the locks."
Yeah, that would be the hairstyle. That is the only hairstyle that I miss my hair for. Everything else, nah, I don't care about any of that. I'd love to have a hair I'd love to have a head full of locks. I think I'd look good with locks cuz I just think I do. So,
How do you think your kids would react if you just woke up with locks tomorrow and they'd have to redo your Father's Day card?
I think that would come up with an entirely new phase of teasing because
Mm.
that's what that's what kids do. Um, because like I said, they have posited many times that I should just jump on the wave of, man units and just go to a stylist, let them, get the whatever glue, put it on my head, and then just give me instant locks. They've even told me, we can move away from Texas to where nobody would know you except for your fake locks because everybody here knows you because you're bald, and then we could just start all the way over and people will know you as Justin with the locks. And yeah, they I love my kids, but I'm writing them out of the will because
Oh
this
my god.
teasing and taunting it's excessive.
It seems like they, like, get together and probably think about new ways to tease you, because now they're talking about putting you in some sort of bald witness protection program where it's like, "Listen, we're gonna glue something on your head. We're gonna move out of state where nobody knows who we are." And then you're Justin Locks now. You're not Justin Belt anymore. It's Justin Locks. You've always had these locks, and we're just not gonna talk about it.
Yep. Yep. And once the glue wears off, we'll just glue them back down and nobody will ever have to know.
Yeah.
I have an entirely new identity in in bald witness protection. That's incredible.
Yeah,
That
and
is
then
incredible.
and one day you're at, like, a water park, and then the glue comes off, and then you have to move your whole family again to a different location because now it's been revealed that you're bald. I mean, this would be a great movie.
Can you imagine the conspiracy? I mean, I could probably sell that story, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be a quick way to a million. That's a great idea. Somebody should write that screenplay.
Yeah, you just haven't
Maybe you should write that screenplay.
maybe I should. You just have to keep moving from town to town to town
Yeah.
because once people see, but there has to be something. There has to be something that your bald head uniquely does to people. Maybe it's that when people see your bald head, it's the most beautiful bald head they've ever seen. And women can't control themselves and people crash their cars. It's just dangerous for everyone to be around. So you're
It's too
like,
dangerous.
they're like, "Listen, Dad, you caused a 20 car pileup last week when you came out of Trader Joe's because people saw your head, and Mom's jealous because all these women are like throwing themselves at you. So like we got to do something." So then, you put the thing on, but you got to move town because even the people in your town are like, "No, we know that's still him under there."
Yeah, because once they see the baldness at any point, even putting the hair on it doesn't stop the effect. They're still enthralled and entranced by it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So now you're in Toledo, Ohio or something, and you're just Justin with locks,
Toledo.
and you're, whatever, you're working at Home Depot or something. And then but something happens, right? And it's like something falls off a high shelf and it rips the locks off, and then they all see it, and then it's like, here we go again, right? The people swoop in, they put a bag
Yeah.
over you, they put you in a car, and it's like now the government's involved. They got to move you somewhere else. So I don't know how it
And
ends,
then
but
and then the conspiracy theorists come out and they find some secret government documents that reveal that all bald men are from this other planet that had that yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Spielberg, give us a call. We've got a pitch
yeah.
for you.
Maybe you're one of the original blood descendants of this species,
Yeah.
and but now other foreign governments want to take you and use you as a weapon,
Mhm.
right? Because it's like, oh, we'll just walk into the Strait of Hormuz with this guy's head, right? And everyone's gonna be like, we'll give you whatever you want.
Conflict resolved
Yeah,
immediately.
conflict resolved.
That's the power of baldness.
Yeah, that's it's the power of baldness. World peace is bald.
Mhm. It is, and it's beautiful. Bald and beautiful.
Now, as a religious scholar, I'm just going to say you're a religious scholar because I feel like you're much more of a religious scholar than I am. Why do you think a lot of like monks and saints and spiritual traditions have shaved heads?
I have no idea. Uh, I think maybe that, and I'm probably wrong on this, but I have thought about this before. Maybe it's been years, but I used to think that monks and religious figures were bald I used to think maybe because they felt like the hair might have interfered with their how they commune with God, or whoever their key religious figure is. I don't know. But I also think of it for them, it's uh, as a sacrifice of who they were before toward who they're transforming into as a result of whatever vows, religious vows they choose to make. Now, I can't verify any of it, but that's what I used to think, and I probably still hold to much of that. Um, Now I can't say that being bald, I've heard from God any better than I did when I had hair. But I mean, if somebody thinks that that might help them, then more power to you.
I think that's probably right. It's more of a symbolic gesture
Mhm.
than anything because I know some of the Buddhist monks, not only do they shave their heads, but they like burn the dots into their head, the 6 dots. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, no, uh-uh.
Yeah, like Krillin from Dragon Ball Z has them.
Yes.
Yeah, and, so I just always thought, I don't know what those were from, and then I watched a movie, and they take, like, like a burning piece of wood, and
Mhm.
they dot on your head like that, and, yeah, I think that's just part of it. It's part of the ceremony, it's or maybe it's like a unifying thing because all the like, especially in Buddhism, as far as I know, all the monks are bald, right?
Yeah,
So,
they are.
it's kinda like, well, how can we tell how can we tell at a quick glance who works here and who doesn't? And it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta kind of do that. And maybe it's more like, yeah, like you were saying, in my old life, I was a dentist, and then I shaved my hair, and now I'm a Buddhist monk.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Krillin, um, a very powerful representation of the potential of baldness, and also One Punch Man.
Oh God, yes. I was One Punch Man for Halloween last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So, the icon for your show, you with the it reminds me very much of One Punch Man. Is that by design?
I was kinda going more for Dragon Ball Z, but I mean, a powering up bald anime character can kind of be, it's a little ambiguous, so I don't get sued by the Dragon Ball people. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's such a great well, what a great character to have, and what a great figure for us bald people to have One Punch Man,
I agree.
who it's just like, well, he just became so powerful that even his hair just couldn't take it.
Yeah. His hair had to bow into the submission because he had become so powerful. May we all aspire to such.
Yeah, I always say I'm gonna do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day, and I don't actually get around to it. But I'm afraid that if I do, I'll become too powerful like One Punch Man.
Yeah, you're sparing people, Steve. You're sparing
Yeah,
people.
I don't wanna get too scary.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Because I mean, you don't want to spend all day every day fighting all of these menaces to the world. You've got to have a life outside of just being a hero. So, I agree with you.
That's true. I'm gonna tell myself that every day. I'm gonna look in the mirror and be like, "Steve, you need a life outside of just being a hero."
That's right. That's right. You can't just be a hero, man. You deserve to be an ordinary guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but it's hard to be an ordinary bald guy because people see you, and then sometimes they wanna say stuff. They wanna say bald people things to you, and, because I think that when people see bald people, they assume a few things. I think they assume that this person can take a joke about being bald, and that they're secure with who they are because they see One Punch
Mhm.
Man, they see Krillin, they see Jason Statham, they see all these great bald figures, and none of them are self-conscious about being bald, so why would you be?
Yeah. Yeah. What has been maybe the most common joke that just somebody out like you're just out at Walmart or whatever, and someone just stopped you and just told you a bald joke? Like, what's been the most common one that you've heard?
Like, what kind of shampoo do you use? I think that's the one that I get the most. Um, and it's like, well, and the one that I see most common online is like, where do you stop washing your face?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm like, well, my face kind of ends where everyone else's face ends. Like this isn't my face anymore,
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I get it. But I had this plan to do an episode on like bald jokes because I thought I just assumed online. Like I haven't really been like a social media person until I started all this. And I just assumed a lot of people made fun of bald people online, and they do a little bit, but probably not so much and not always mean-spirited.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to make an episode like, okay, what if people make a bald joke at you? As a new bald person, you're going to be very sensitive to it. But it doesn't really happen that often. It only happens to me like when I'm on a stage or like I do improv and we've done like improv workshops. So I'll be in a room full of non-bald people as the only bald person, and then everybody's trying to like make jokes or whatever, and then they'll make a joke about me being bald. But outside of that, no one comes up to me. I think it's well, you get bald jokes every day from your kids, so I feel like you're just a magnet for bald jokes. But for
It
me, I
doesn't
don't get too many.
it doesn't happen outside of students and my kids. Like, I think the one that I get a lot also, I have, like, naturally oily skin, so my hair is always shiny. My head is hair. My head is always shiny, and so people are always like, "What do you put on your head to get that magnificent glow?" I remember one time I was in class and a student stopped me in the middle of teaching and said, "Mr. Belt, you realize you have an endless forehead?" I was like, "A what?" She's like, some normal people have, just a spot where their hairline is. You don't. So your forehead literally goes all the way back to your neck. I said, "Shut up, kid.
Oh my god.
Leave me alone."
They really do say whatever they want to us. I mean,
They totally do.
they
They
totally
totally do.
do. And that's what I'm trying to and that's why I wanted to research that episode because I was like, okay, because the real target audience, I guess, if you will, for this show is people that are considering becoming bald.
Mhm.
Right? That's who like my original idea was. It's like, so some of my solo episodes are more like, okay, like what do I need to do? Like, how do I shave it? Or what can I expect? That kind of stuff. So I don't want people thinking that, okay, the second you become bald, if you're a black guy, they're going to call you Milk Dud. And and they're going to say that you have an endless forehead. Like I don't want to tell people that okay, hey, as soon as you become bald, this is what's going to happen. But it kind of will, but it's gonna be okay, like
Yeah, like the initial shock of it for people, it's incredible how jarring it is for other people. Um, but it normalizes and you grow calluses over those sensitive spots and everybody's happy.
yeah,
Ish.
exactly. I don't know that being bald after a little while is even a sensitive spot anymore,
No.
because what being bald is so final that you're just done with that, right? Like if like I'm short, but I'm not super insecure about being short, but if I was and then I just suddenly became tall, then the insecurity's gone, right?
Yeah.
So it's if I was insecure about, having a bald spot on my head and then my whole head is bald,
Yeah.
it's like, we're just done here, And
Yeah.
now I realize, well, that was just a small part of me, the hair part, and now I'm just the same person,
Yeah. And I
but
mean,
better.
the finality part I think is important because now you have a choice, right? Do I accept this new reality or do I fight against it? I mean, your genetics are your genetics, but I know men go to Turkey and get the hair follicle treatment and all this stuff. Uh, but I don't know, man. I think, for me at least, because I was never attached to my hair, it didn't give me that many issues. But I've had friends who have gone the bald route, and it's just been a thing of, yeah, just I know it's not coming back. So why am I going to sit here and pine for my hair? Or, I've also I had this friend who had locks that were all the way down his back. And then one day he just shaved them off, not bald, but just into a low fade haircut. That was jarring for me. The first time I saw him, I was like, wait, who are you again? And so that kind of gave me kind of a window maybe into what other people saw when they first saw me post bald bald exposure. Hair does cause us to look differently. I mean, there have been times where I haven't had any facial hair and, of course, no hair up here. And I won't ever do that again if I can help it, because I don't even think I'm quite ready for that kind of shocking appearance. So thank God for beards.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what I would do without the beard. It's too
Yeah.
much. I think it's just like you just look like you're just a solid color. I don't I don't think that, you know what I mean? It's like somebody just like took the day off, just like coloring the
Yeah.
rest of your face, and they're just like, "Nah, just do the whole thing one color."
Yeah. Yeah. You have those mistakes when you're shaving and maybe something startles you and you're like, "Oh, crap." And you try to level it out and make everything look good, and you just keep making it worse and worse and worse. Now, the bald face, I'll never get with that. Never, never, ever, at all.
No, I feel like you need contrast.
Yeah,
Just a little bit. This is
yeah,
still the star of the show, but there's a little, there's something going on in the
absolutely,
rest.
absolutely. It provides context, like you said, in contrast. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And maybe there'll be like a little gray or something in here, I'm getting older. Maybe I want to show that, because as a bald person, I don't really have gray hair, because well, it could be there. I have no idea. No one knows. I don't have to dye my hair because it's gone.
And I have gray in my beard, and I welcome it. Like, I think it looks absolutely incredible. And my wife would agree. She's like, I love the grays in your beard. And I'm like, yeah, y'all gave them to me. So you should
Yeah.
like them. You should appreciate them.
Now, why do you think she cried when you first shave your hair?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever asked her why she cried. That's a great question. I'll have to, I'm going to ask her that tonight and see if she can remember what she was feeling watching. I don't know. I, at the time, I laughed. I thought it was a very weird response for her to be the one crying.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I guess she just married this man who had hair at the wedding and now he doesn't have. I don't know. I'll have to find out. I'll find out and I'll have to send you her response, cuz in my brain right now I can't make it make sense. It doesn't compute.
Yeah, because clearly she didn't find you less attractive. I mean, you got 5 kids after that. So
Hey,
that wasn't the issue.
hey, the bald superpower, man. That's what
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
saying, men.
maybe that's what it was.
It made me oh, she cried because the irresistibility factor went up by so
Ex
much. Yeah.
exactly. She's
Yeah.
like, "This is the most beautiful." It's like when you see a beautiful sunset. It's just like, "Oh my god," and then just the tears are just pouring down her face because she's like,
Yeah.
"This is the most amazing creature I've ever seen."
And it's not like the regular tears, it's the anime tears where you just have just entire rivers just gushing from
Yeah,
your eyes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's
I
go with
like
that.
that better.
Yeah. I won't ask her after all. From henceforth and forever, when we talk about that moment, I'm going to tell her what she was feeling. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to accept any other versions of the story.
And that's why your kids bring it up so much because they're just so intrigued by it. They're like,
Yo,
"Ah, this bald head on this guy. I don't know what it is. Can't
yeah,
keep my eyes off it."
yeah. So they have to make their little jokes so that they can have small portions of their day where they're not under the trance of the baldness.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of people when they act like something's not amazing, they actually want that thing. Like, you know how like there's guys out there who like, I don't need a woman. I don't want women. Like women are nothing or whatever. But it's like, you know what that guy, that guy just
Yeah,
wishes he had a woman, right? I mean, isn't
yeah.
that what it is? Oh, I love my singlehood. I could do whatever I want. I was like, if you had
They
a,
really don't wanna be single. Right.
yeah, they don't want to be
Yeah.
single at all. And the same thing, they're like, oh yeah, you're bald head this and you're bald head that. And it's like, they really want that bald head and
Mhm.
they can't have it.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that is yeah, I think for you, this is becoming something that could become a book. You could write a book about all of this. This would be great. A book. We've got you set up. We have a book. We have a screenplay. I mean, if you know any animators that can they can animate you, an animated series called The Baldest. Like it'd just be great. I think it'd be incredible, and you'd never have to work a single day for the rest of your life.
I have to work. I actually don't have a job right now, and this is my job. So I'm um I'm having a great time. But yeah, I don't even have an actual job anymore. I got laid off a couple weeks ago. So podcasting has become my full-time job. So now I get to pretend like, oh yeah, this is my full-time job. I'm just bald full time.
Bald full time.
Yeah, I'm just full-time bald.
Well, I mean, hey, at least you're not one of those guys just holding on to the one strand. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, and plus, the beard you have, it frames the face perfectly. So it's all very complimentary.
I like how we've both agreed to come on this show, and now we're just talking about how good each other's face looks, because that's what only two bald guys would be like. You know what you do? You look great. Like, let me tell you,
It's a solidarity thing.
it's true.
We've got to stand up for one another. Who's going to stand up for us, right? So
No, that's exactly right. I mean, I think that more and more bald people are realizing that, hey, we're a thing. We're bald people, and we want to be recognized as a community.
that's right. You will not tread on me.
Before we continue, if you're enjoying this episode, please subscribe to the show, leave a review, share it with somebody you know. It really is the best way to help grow our community, and every viewer matters. So I appreciate you for sticking with the show, and let's get back to JB Speaks. Have you heard about the Bald Meetup?
No, I have not.
So Saturday? This Saturday, the 27th, is there's going to be a bald meetup in New York City, and they're going to set the Guinness Book of World Records record for most bald people in one place. They're going to fly a drone up. It's going to take a picture of all the bald people, and they're going to count all the bald heads.
Have they accounted for the possible glare
I've
that
From what
that
I've
might
heard, yeah, because the guy who was on my show last week, also named Justin, he's the organizer, and he did one in Seattle, and he said, "Yeah, the glare's actually a problem."
Oh
Like he
yeah,
thought
of
he
course.
thought it would be a joke. Like, "Oh yeah, haha, the glare is going to be really bad." He's like, "The glare is bad. The glare is actually it's actually it's actually a problem with this many
Yeah.
bald people."
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally, totally. I mean, sometimes we're driving and my wife will say, "Babe, the glare off of your head is just a little bit much. Can can you can you adjust your shade?" So, having that many bald people in one particular space, that probably interferes with some satellite feeds.
I bet you like the temperature around it is warmer. Like it's just like sunlight being reflected back up into the air by all these heads.
Oh, can you imagine if they were to have a race and the drift coming off of all of those bald heads? Like, it might enable some of those guys to break land speed records. Like,
Just
seriously.
all bald guys just swimming or just running right after each other
Yeah,
like this and just cutting straight through.
yeah,
Yeah. It would be like when Superman like spins around the globe to like turn back time or whatever he does.
yeah. They might be able to turn back time enough so that those follicles start to regrow.
Do you run?
To the kitchen table,
Oh,
totally.
okay, because a lot of bald people run. I'm noticing that more and more.
I think it's been scientifically proven that being bald makes us more aerodynamic.
Yeah.
But I have not partaken in the running. I just tell people that I'm aerodynamically built,
Mhm.
but I've never had to prove it yet.
That's true. You never see a bald person really stressed about the wind
No,
because
no,
it's like, okay.
and people ask me, I don't wear a hat in the winter. They're like, "Doesn't your head get cold?" Like, no, it's fine. It's weatherproof at this point. It's been weatherproofed.
So what kind of products do you use on your head to keep it so nice?
Just soap and water and lotion.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, you said you have naturally oily skin, and I feel
Mhm.
like if that's the case, then your head kinda takes care of itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I just yeah, nothing I've never had to, apply any buff and shine or any turtle wax or anything like that to it.
Turtle wax. That
It
would be
just
another level if you started using car wax on your head.
I'm sure that there is someone out there who has done that at some time. I promise you, somebody has used car wax on their head.
And then it's just like, it's then people the sun hits it, and it's blinding everyone around them.
It would have to be if it didn't burn the skin away, which might also be problematic.
Yeah, I don't know if you can we'll have to get in touch with the turtle wax people and be like, "Is this safe to use on bald heads?" And they're gonna be like, "Absolutely not. Why would you do that?"
At some point, there will be someone who finds this show who says, I am a person who used turtle wax on my head. I want to talk about it. And I
I
think
gotta bring them on then.
that'll be an excellent episode because I would want to know if they actually survived.
Yeah, I would be like, "What? Why?" And they're like, "To make it shiny, duh." Like, they wouldn't even have, like, a it would be like it would make perfect sense to them. They were like, "I was washing the car, and I thought, 'Wait a minute. Hood looks great. Put it up here.'"
Yeah,
And yeah,
I
protect
follow
from
the logic.
rust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Uh, and when it rains, it just causes the rain to beat up and just yeah, yeah. What do
Yeah,
you use?
she's
Do
right
you
up.
use any product on your hair? On your head?
A little bit. I use the Be Bald. They have, like, an aftershave, and then I just use, like, coconut oil or jojoba oil or jojoba oil, whatever you call it. I just like like, single ingredient
Hmm. Yeah.
oils. So I just kind of rub that all over my face because I don't, once my face doesn't end apparently according to the internet. So I just go like this, and
Yeah.
then the whole thing's covered. Because yeah, I don't want like scents and stuff. I kind of have sensitive skin, so I'm like, just use something natural, and that should do it.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, it's a low maintenance kind of wash and go kind of thing. It works. It works.
Yeah, maybe that's why the monks did it. They're like, we don't have time to be doing our hair every day.
We're too busy praying and meditating.
We're too busy praying and meditating. And also we look kind of tough with it. If
Also
you
true.
imagine if you're I don't know, if you're back in China in 500 AD or whatever, and then you're like some, I don't know, Chinese general, and then you roll up on a monastery, and everybody there has like big blonde hair, right? And like ponytails, and they're just brushing it or whatever. You'd be like, all right, let's just wipe these guys out. Like, this
Yep.
is not even going to be a threat. But if you pull up and everybody's like a bald guy with like a stick in their hand, you're gonna be like, uh-oh, maybe we should turn around.
Yeah. I mean, Fast and Furious with Vin Diesel doesn't work if he has long, luscious hair, even if it's pulled back into a ponytail. It just
That's
doesn't work.
true. Yeah. I don't know why that was such a great why did he have to be bald? Because it just made him look extra
Yeah.
tough.
I mean, like I uh I had to speak at a youth camp last week, and I was on my flight home, and I watched The Beekeeper, Jason Statham, and I mean, he doesn't look nearly as intimidating with hair as he looks without the hair. Now, would he still kick your butt? Oh, totally. But you're more likely to take his skill for granted if he has hair on his head. It's just something about the bald look that just implies some measure of toughness.
Yeah. That's true, and, that one of my first episodes was, there was a professor did a study, a bald professor, of course, and, and it was about, hey, like, what does do bald people, or are they do most people think that bald people are, like, stronger and tougher and more dominant? And, they found that, yeah, they did, and they took, like, pictures of people with hair of men with hair, and then they digitally remove their hair, and they're like, "Well, what do you think about this guy?" And it's the same guy, but they're like, "Oh, that the bald guy, he's tough. You don't wanna mess with that guy."
Human psychology is so interesting.
It is.
It's so interesting.
And as bald people, we're like a little experiment that people walk up to, and they're like, "Can I touch your head? Like, what's up with that?"
Yeah. Truth. Were you born bald? Sure. Yes.
Well, kind of, I mean,
I had a head full of curly hair when I was born. I've
and
seen babies that were born bald,
yeah.
but I wasn't one of them. It just wasn't my time. My time came at year 22 of life.
Yeah, you had a good run. You had 20 years with it, and then they're like,
Mhm.
"That's that," you were like, "That's enough."
Hey, so what do you use to shave your head?
It's a shaver. It's a Remington electric shaver, and I use that pretty much 100% of the time. For the first time, I did like a regular razor shave the other day
Mhm.
because I'm working on an episode about like shaving your head for the first time. So I was like, well, let me try it because I've never done it because I'm always scared to cut myself. And I did a little bit. But I mean, you get a damn good shave with a straight razor. I mean, it was silky smooth. But I think with, just the regular electric shaver is, it's like 80-20 rule, like, you're gonna
Yeah.
get it pretty close. What are you using?
Yeah, I use a straight razor.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and just go for it. First time I did that, I cut my ear pretty good years ago, decades ago, I guess at this point. But yeah, I've learned to use a straight razor and I can get a great shave in maybe 15 minutes. I wrap my head in a hot towel
Mm.
and then I have a shaving lotion that I use that's actually my wife's shaving lotion because I'm too cheap to get my own. And
Mm,
and it does the job.
okay. I mean, I feel so well, yeah, I think the like a hot you gotta heat it up, like, a clean head that's warm
Yeah,
is
it
really
makes the
what
follicle it
shaves.
makes the hair easier to cut. Yeah.
Now, are you shaving, like, against the grain, like, especially on the sides? Like, because I
Mhm.
find that, like, if I go with the grain, it doesn't get as close, but if I go against the grain, it really gets, like, everything.
Yeah, against the grain. Totally. All the way around.
Yeah, I respect
Get them
that.
jokers out of there.
Yeah. I always thought it would be really cool if we were, like, surviving on an island and you had to, like, take, like, a regular knife and just be like, you know what I mean? But even though I'm trapped on this deserted island, I'm still bald. Like, I'm committed to being bald still.
Mm, if it's just me and a knife, then I might have to look crazy for a while until I get back to civilization.
Well, I think that's probably better, right? If they rescue you like 30 days later and you have like a fresh haircut, they're gonna be like, "This guy just got here,"
Yeah, yeah,
instead of looking all crazy.
yeah. Like, gotta have a little bit of that deranged look so that when the cameras find you, you look like a sympathetic figure.
Yeah. Do you think it's hard to look deranged and bald? Because we look kinda clean.
Um, I think probably. I think it's easier to look deranged with hair because I think society has attributed a certain sophistication to baldness.
Mm.
So I mean, we look like, the gentleman or the well put together person. But yeah, the stuff that you can do with hair can totally make you look like you could be totally off the wagon and that you're capable of anything negative.
Because I was thinking about like bald villains, like the
L-
Kingpin
Lex Luthor.
or
Lex Luthor.
yeah, Lex Luthor. And it's like, nah, these guys are bald, but they look really good.
Hmm.
They never look like crazy. Like the Joker couldn't be bald. He would just look like
Ex-
a handsome guy in a suit.
Except in Superman Returns. Was that the most recent movie? The James Gunn movie with David Corn Sweat. Did you see that movie?
No, I didn't see it.
Ah, okay. So there's a part at the end of the movie where Lex Luthor he gets kind of deranged, and the baldness doesn't add to it. It still causes him to look like a relatively calm, sophisticated person who just really had a bad day. I'm not saying that it didn't look believable,
Mhm.
but I think that the actor definitely had to put more into it because I think the baldness pulls away some of the kind of aspect to it. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of deranged bald people though.
No, because it's such because would you consider someone who has like just the hair in the back, is that a true bald?
No, I think that is someone who is living in denial.
Even if it's like an old guy and they're just doing the hair in the back, you're like, ah.
So yeah, I tend to give older people, I tend to give them a pass. Let them do whatever they want to do because they've lived through life and gone through enough that if you just want to grow out your back and just let it grow as long as you want it to grow, fine. If you just want to have an afro around the sides, hey, who am I to tell you any differently? I don't know what you've been through, but you've earned the right to do whatever you want to do. But it's better on this side of the fence, and you know it, there are benefits to baldness.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one thing I did want to talk about that's not necessarily about baldness, but maybe it'll get back there, is you are a writer.
Mhm.
So how did that start? And kind of how has that grown as you've gotten older?
So I write nonfiction, Christian living kind of stuff. But I've always been a writer. As a child, I played with Legos, and I would build these fantastic worlds out of Legos. I'd script these incredible, you know, dramatic moments and everything with my Legos. Uh, and that kind of, that became something where probably about 10, 12, 13 years ago, a friend of mine challenged me to write a novel in 30 days for NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month in November. And I did it in 28 days. That was the only fantasy book that I've ever written. I did it in 28 days, put it up on Wattpad because I don't know how good it is, but hey, whatever. And so when I knew that there was a book that I needed to write that was going to that I hoped would serve as um, an encouragement to people with faith in God who just keep finding themselves struggling with the same old things or running away from the same old things. And I knew I needed to write that book to encourage them that there are things that you're running away from that God has actually given you the courage and the ability to defeat if you'll just run toward it instead of running away from it. And so that was my first book, Slaying the Lion. hunt what is hunting you. My second book was a men's devotional, um, 60 days, a 60-day devotional for men. And then my third book that I just released back in 2025 was called The Purpose and the Pause. And it's about giving people a different perspective on, when people say, I just feel stuck, or it feels like somebody's hit the pause button on my life and I can't move forward. Um, this book is offering a different perspective on that because I've lived through pauses and I'm sure you have too. Um, and so I think the desire to write has always been a part of me because of the way, my brain can formulate a story from anything. Just like we were just, made an entire script about the power of baldness. Um, so that's always been a part of me. I've always had an overactive imagination, and I've always had a desire to be an encouragement to people by whatever it is I put out into the world, whether it's through my podcast or through my books or through my social media content. Everything that I do is through the lens of I want people to have a better outlook on life as a result of whatever this interaction between us is, whether it's talking in person, reading something I've written, watching something I've made. I'd like something, some imprint of me to leave them in, even if it's just a minuscule betterment of their headspace or their faith or their belief or their quality of life, um, because we've had an interaction. And I think that has been my modus operandi for really as long as I can remember. I want to be a positive force, a positive influence in people's lives. And so writing and podcasting and content, those are just some of the ways that God has blessed me to be able to do that.
Well, I think that's a great reason to do something, because it's kind of like when you asked me like why did I do this? And then I said, well, I just wanted to flex how bald I was. Like that was that was a self-serving purpose, but yeah, it feels a lot better to do something that you at least have the hopes that this will have a positive impact on people. I did have a guy say, "Hey, I was like really scared to shave my head, and then I saw your video, and then I was like, okay, I shaved my head." And it's like just that. That was one guy, just one guy, and I'm like, okay, I can quit now. Like I've done, I did my job, right? I did what I set out to do, and I think that's what that's really what life is about, right? Trying to make it's easy to just take all day, but it feels good when you're able to make something that has a positive impact on someone's life.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we increasingly, even with the rise of content creation, I think it's created I think it's created a, for lack of a better word, constipation in people because we're consuming like never before. We're consuming everything. It used to be you consume on TV or you consume on radio, but now you have TV, you have internet, you have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So there's a lot of consumption going on.
Yeah.
And even and I took you saying I just wanted to show everybody how good I looked bald on camera, tongue in cheek, right? Because because I think that what you're doing with this podcast, it's funny and it's disarming, but I also think, what you're doing is you're helping men to maybe detach a little bit from having an identity that's so wrapped up in one thing that it prevents them from accepting transformation when and how it happens. It may not be baldness. Baldness might be the entry into that conversation, but I think it's a powerful thing anytime that we can encourage people that, hey, your identity is not wrapped up in what you look like. It's wrapped up in something that goes far deeper than that. And the episodes that I've listened to from the podcast, I think there's this underlying current that's coming through, as we talk about baldness and we laugh about it and we talk about topics surrounding it, there is really, I think, a permission to define yourself by something else other than what you might see or might not see when you look into the mirror.
Mm. Oh, wow. That is the nicest thing anyone's ever said about my podcast. I wish I could. I wish I paid you to say that. But yeah, I think so. I mean, that's really what it is you the show is about being bald, but the show isn't about being bald. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's kind of what I when I talk to people about it, especially non-bald people, it's like, but yeah, it's a show about being bald, but it's also not. Like it's about accepting yourself, whatever bald is for you,
Yeah,
right? It doesn't literally have to be bald. Something will at some point in your life have to change, and you probably don't want to accept it.
yeah.
Whatever that thing is, you get it, you whatever, your dad has cancer, your child has this thing, or you can't have a child, whatever the thing is that you don't
Mhm.
want to accept in your life, you're going to have to accept it eventually. And then it's about, what do I do from here? And for the record, I'm not comparing being bald to any of those things. I'm
Right.
just saying that, for everyone, there's things in our life that we wish didn't happen, but guess what? It's kind of not always up to us, but that's okay. Like life goes on and you can always set yourself up for a better future.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's why I like the idea of what your podcast is and why I was excited to come on. Because like I said, you're doing good work and you're having good conversations that can that if someone listens in and they're not bald, I think they can find something in that conversation to take away from whatever, as you said, baldness is for them, whatever that bald metaphor is for them. They can pull something away from it that can help them cope or regroup or whatever it is in whatever season of life they're in.
Yeah, and that's why when I'm looking for guests, well, I can't just have a bald guy who's was like, "Well, what's your deal?" He's like, "Oh, I'm bald." And it's like, "Okay, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like you're bald. That's great. I love you because you're bald." But, I do the show is about having interesting conversations with interesting bald people. You
Yep,
know, uh, we're highlighting excellent bald people.
yep.
So to sort of show everyone that, hey, like bald people are doing some cool stuff out here, and, you would be so lucky if you were as bald as we are.
Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Totally.
So what has writing taught you? Because I'm very interested in, well, one, I think we need to do the Power of Bald book. I think that's the next book. But what have you learned from the purpose in the pause? Because I think that's so many people feel stuck in life. And what would you tell someone that was feeling stuck?
Whew, a lot of stuff. But I think the biggest thing for me, and the reason why I wrote the book is because um, God gave us a vision about 10, 11, 12 years ago to plant a church. We waited that 10, 11, 12 years, planted it. It lasted for 7 months, and then we had to close the doors just because it was hard attracting people here for us. But during the time between having the vision and hearing from God and planting the church, I just felt all the frustration and the anger, and I'm looking around seeing all these other people doing the things that I believe that God had called me to do. And so I'm angry and I'm not processing it well at all. At all. Um and I think it writing this book was really a way for me to process, okay, Justin, stop. That waiting period was not worthless. There is high value in it. What did you actually learn about yourself in this? What did you learn about your faith in this? What did you learn about persevering in this? And being able to take all of those things and put them into this book as I mean, it was therapeutic for me being able to do that. Um, and I think for people who have read it, it's kind of been that same kind of experience for them. Because again, you're not just going to go through one phase of life where you find yourself stuck and you don't know what's going on. There are going to be many phases of life like that. But I think being able to shift that perspective, if you believe in God, understand that God is still working even when you feel like nothing in your life is moving, he's still there. But even if you say, "Oh, I don't believe in God." Okay, but you're never actually just stuck. There's always some type of movement that's happening there. You're making your mind up about things, you're determining things, you're trying to figure things out. So you're never actually stuck. So quit saying you're stuck and just saying, okay, there are things going on here that I either need to figure out, I need to reject, or things that I need to partner with in order to get where I'm trying to go in life. And so, I mean, that is my message from my Christian frame is that for all of us, God is working. God is doing things in that there. God is doing things that are hidden to you, that are hidden from me, but my faith tells me to trust him because he's bringing something good out of this that's going to develop me and make me a better person for when this season ends and I move into the season where now, okay, here's the thing that I've been praying for. Now I'm the person that's ready for that because I wasn't that person at the beginning.
Mm.
It's like every superhero trope, right? Steve Rogers was a shrimp. You couldn't have given him a shield and said, "Steve, go save the world." No, Steve had to go through a process. Yeah, it kind of hurt having a super soldier serum injected and all this stuff. But Steve at the beginning wasn't the Steve that he needed to be like in, you know, Avengers Endgame or whatever, however we want to frame this. And the same thing for us, there's a process that we have to go through to develop and grow so that we can become the kind of person that the eventual new season demands that we'll be.
Mm. That's a great way to put it. Is there's I feel like the things that we want are always ahead of where we are.
Hmm.
So, everybody wants something, but it's like, well, if I gave it to you now, you actually couldn't handle it, right? Like the shield is a perfect example. If I gave you the shield now, if I made you Captain America now, you're done. It's
Yeah.
not going to work,
Yeah.
right? So it's like I've been reading Rick Rubin's book, and one thing he says is that impatience is an argument with reality.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, well, I want this and this and this and this, but it's like, but I, I'm, but it takes a lot of maturity to look at yourself and say, but I'm not ready for that, right?
Yeah.
I want a million followers, right? I want a million downloads a day, right? But if I get
Me
two
too.
comments in one day, I'm like, okay, slow down, like everybody leave me alone. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not ready for it, and I understand that, but I still wouldn't hate it. But you know what I mean? It's like I aspire for that, not I expect that now, right? I have to do the work in order to get where I want to go, but I it's okay. You have to kind of like learn to appreciate the journey because if you're feeling stuck, you're just frustrated that it's not happening quick enough, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that what it is?
That's what it is. Absolutely. And yeah. And I think probably the biggest thing when you feel stuck, it's building patience. And patience is so important, especially now where everything is, so quickly at your disposal. The the things that we really need in life, those are the things that take time. They have to marinate. They have to do the stuff. And we don't like being in the cocoon. We want to get out of that joint and instantly become the butterfly. But no, like, sit here, sit here in this cocoon, learn what I'm trying to teach you, learn the lessons because they're going to help you at the end. And one of the things I say in the book is when you're in the pause, you learn the lessons. When you come out of the pause, you live the lessons that you've previously learned.
Mm.
There are things that we need that we don't have at the beginning that we can only get as we wait for whatever this is to end and for the new season to begin.
And isn't that so many Bible stories is that, oh, you get it at the end because that's that. I mean, that's kind of, well, I guess every story in literature, but especially in the Bible. Oh, it's coming later, right? Oh,
Yeah,
the flood's coming. You need to build this ark. It's like, okay, well, well, but you get the ark at the end, and then the flood comes.
yeah,
So it's always not now. You have to go through something. And I like how, yeah, you're never actually stuck. That was such a great way to put it because I've also been trying to learn more about abundance mindset. And anytime you approach something from a place of lack, it feels bad, right?
yeah. It
I
sucks.
don't have this. I don't have this, and that sucks. But what if I told you, well, you'll get it later? It's
Yeah,
like, well, I can't really be upset about it now because it's coming later.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
if my girlfriend gets me a birthday present today and my birthday's not till November, I'm not going to be like, "Well, where are my birthday presents?" It's like, "Well, it's coming on my birthday. I'll just get it then."
yeah, yeah. And I think adopting the belief that for me as a Christian, God has good things for me that He's already set aside. So I know that they're coming. But now it's just, but when do I get the good? Especially if I find myself in a season right now where everything just generally sucks.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, with kids, kids want to get under the tree and shake the gift to see, can I figure out what's in it? But if there are no gifts under the tree that they can see, even though they know that Christmas is coming, now they're like, "Oh, where are the gifts? Where are the gifts?" And in life, we know that there's good out there, but we often can't see the we can't see the goodness under the proverbial tree.
Mm.
And so we're wondering, uh, have I screwed up my life so much that there's nothing good out there? Am I stuck wandering this desert for 40 years and to know that there's nothing on the end? No. No. It's there, but you've got to make it from December 1st through December 25th in order to see what's actually there that's actually been in the house hidden from you all this time. Like, so anyway, yeah, that's my latest book and that's the message that I'm really passionate about right now, as you can tell.
Yeah, and I think you should be because I feel like well, at least here in America, I feel like we have an abundance of pessimism, and I don't know when things are going to get better for us as a country, but they will. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, I feel like if you probably went back 100 years or something, and you said, "Oh man, how's America doing?" They're like, "Ah, it keeps getting worse." It's like, well, everything can't always be getting worse all the time, right?
Yeah,
It's just like
that's an
anything.
impossibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even in the worst of times, there are still windows of goodness. We just have to be willing to find a way to focus some portion of our attention onto it so that we're not crushed overwhelmingly by the bad that's happening around us.
Yeah. And do you think that if people just had more faith, that that would have a profound impact in your life? Like, is that sort of what the purpose in the pause is about? It's like, well, just if you believe that it's not going to get better and you believe that you're stuck, well, then you're going to stay there. But if you believe that good is coming, which is what God's promise always is, right? Like good is
Mhm.
coming, then you're gonna find yourself there eventually.
I think it's not just the faith that God is working in situations that we don't really want to be in order to produce the best result possible for our good and for his glory. But I also believe that along with having the faith is one thing, but demonstrating that you have the faith by continuing to get up every day and walk toward that goodness, even when you don't know exactly what it is or when you'll come across it. It's a you demonstrate your faith. You demonstrate your faith by the way that you walk it out one step at a time. I can't just say, I have faith in God and then just sit here in this seat and do nothing. If I'm having faith in God, believing that uh, my podcast is going to grow to 100 views per episode, I still have to keep making the content. Like, I can't just sit here and say, oh, yeah, God's going to bless my podcast and this is going to happen and this is going to happen. I still have to keep making podcast episodes for people to find. And at some point, maybe 100 episodes down the line, maybe 50, maybe 25, at some point, somebody's going to find it, like it, and share it, and people are going to start coming in. But if I say that I have faith and I never do anything with that faith, then I'm just going to be someone believing for something that I'm not putting any effort toward causing to happen. There's a quote that I saw on the wall of the building I was in when I was speaking at a youth conference. It said, it said, have faith like have faith like it all hinges on God, but work like it all hinges on you.
Mhm.
And I think that's the key. I understand as a Christian that God is all powerful, but I also understand that that there are things that God has placed in my purview, things that God has placed in my hand that can have a direct impact on where I am and what I'm doing and what the eventual results are. Um, my faith doesn't say just stay home and sleep and do nothing and all will be good. No, there are things that I have to partner with God to do. And so, I think faith is one thing, but it's easy to say you have faith and not do anything with it. And I think a lot of people assume that faith is all you need, but I believe that faith should push us to be active and to show that faith in everyday life.
Mm. And that would certainly prevent you from feeling stuck because you're like, no, yeah, I'm believing, but I'm also making a podcast day every
Hmm.
day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm still working at it. I'm still taking a step, no matter how minuscule the step seems to me. Um, I have to believe that everything that I do, every action I take by faith, is like throwing a rock into water. You see the you see the ripples for song before you don't see them, but that energy is still being dispersed and distributed. So I have to
Mm.
believe that even when I can't see the impact that what I do is having, somewhere out there, that energy is being moved toward the space that I eventually want to inhabit.
Yeah. Well, what a great metaphor. It's just the ripples get smaller and smaller till you can't see them with the human eye,
Yeah,
but the ripples are actually there. Oh, damn, that's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. I don't know what law of matter that is. My wife could tell me because she's smart, but yeah, it's still going. And so the things that we do in faith, by faith, uh, they have an impact whether we can see it or not.
Mm. So tell me more about the podcast. It's called the Pursuit Podcast.
A- Actually, it's called Faith Formed.
Okay.
Um, it started off as the Pursuit podcast, but that didn't feel natural to what I actually wanted it to become. And so probably around episode 15 or 16, I rebranded it as Faith Formed. And I wanted to have a podcast that was about honest faith, not the high and lofty, I trusted God and I got this or this and this. No, no. People get enough of that. I wanted to create something that was honest. So when we planted the church and we ended up having to close it, I talk about how much that sucked for me and how I had to go through a process of, you know, journaling and therapy to get to a point where I wasn't like, man, Justin, you screwed this up so royally. This is all your fault. Moving from that to, bro, sometimes your idea of success and God's idea of success aren't going to look the same. Um, and so I talk, man, I try to use myself in my life as a model for sometimes what to do, but also sometimes, honestly, I did this and it didn't work. But it's about honest faith and helping people to build a faith that sustains them through the middle, because the middle is where people give up. At the beginning, I'm excited about it. At the end, I can look back and I can say, oh, yeah, this was great. But in the middle is often not great. The middle is where the doubts are. It's where the poor perspectives are. It's where all of these things are that we don't want to deal with, that we don't want to talk about when we're at the end, but we don't foresee when we're in the middle. But the middle, if you have a faith that has been forged in the middle, then you can make it through almost anything in life. And so that's what that's what the entire journey of this podcast is. It's about encouraging people. It's about encouraging people who are in the middle and life may not be great and they're still waiting on things. Okay, how can we build your faith? Build a faith to sustain you as God is building you, even in the portions of life that are most undesirable for you.
Mm, wow. And I'm sure a lot of people are really enjoying it because I listened to your newest episode, and you had this great line. You're always preaching to yourself. And I think that's like, I mean, we could talk all day about, what the voices in your head tell you. But if you zoom out and you think, well, actually, I'm like my own coach up here. It's
Hmm.
not just, oh, I'm just me. I'm just judge, jury, and executioner for me all the time because I can be that way with myself.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I can also be my own parent in my brain. I can be my own best friend. I can
Yeah.
always, I can take care of myself in my head sometimes and not always be so harsh because at least for me, I don't have a problem doing things. I have a problem calming down.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I don't need the drill sergeant voice. I actually need the gentle and loving voice in my head to
Hmm.
to take care of me.
Yeah. So that episode, yeah, because I just released a new episode this morning, but that episode was really personal to me because I can often be horrible to myself in my head.
Mm,
Um, and this whole idea that the most influential preacher that we'll ever hear, even if you don't go to church, the most influential preacher that you'll ever hear in your head is yourself. Because
mm,
you're always in the pulpit saying words to yourself, many of them very unkind, many of them tearing you down instead of building you up. And the purpose of that episode is because daily I have to work to not listen to that critic. Daily I have to work to replace the 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 negative sermons, as you were, with the actual word of God, which I live my life by, which I choose to be defined by. Um, and I wanted to encourage people that, yeah, while you may have a charlatan in the pulpit of your brain speaking all of these falsities about you, you have the power to take the pulpit back. Uh, and you're going to have to keep doing it repeatedly because that critic is never going to shut up. Every day is a fight. Every day is a battle. But when you hear something negative, replace it with something positive, with something that is true, and refuse to let that negativity, refuse to let that toxicity win at all costs. Life outside of us is hard enough. We don't need to contribute to that by allowing the life inside of us to be just as difficult.
Mm, damn. Justin, I want to respect your time. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on, sir. Where can people find your stuff?
On socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at JB Speaks. And then Faith Formed is the name of the podcast. You can find that podcast anywhere that podcasts are. It's audio only. I don't have a look good like my boy Steve here, but it's audio only. And I'd love it if you all who are listening would take a listen to it.
Yeah, I highly recommend that you do. All right. Well, thanks so much, Justin. And man, what a great conversation. I can't wait to go back and watch this thing because really absolutely delightful. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this conversation with Justin Belt, please check out his book, The Purpose in the Pause, and his podcast, Faith Formed. I'll leave links in the show notes for both of those things, as well as all his social media where he goes by JB Speaks. And if you've made it this far in the video, leave a comment down below that says JB, because I think he should just embrace the name JB Speaks. It sounds so cool because when JB speaks, you listen. And thank you for listening. If you'd like to follow along with the Baldest stuff, you can find me on social media at the Baldest. Please leave a comment, subscribe, share this with someone who you think would be interested. It really helps grow the community over here, and I absolutely appreciate it. I have been releasing episodes every Monday, so look forward to the next episode after this. We've got a lot of great guests lined up. And if you have been missing out on some of the past episodes, go back and watch those because I promise you those are good too. All right. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Let your head shine and your mind will follow. This is the Baldest.